So just make sure that it's coming through. Live streaming. Let's do the main intro. Oh. Right, okay, how's that not happening?
A quiet night in London tonight,
Well, welcome to Shoot the Breeze. Andy Smith here, Tom Brogan with me, and we have Andy McLaren as well. Andy, thank you for joining us on this
No problem.
Scotland,
No problem,
England
Andy.
after-match thing. We've got David Defrost joining as well, but apparently on Twitter he says he's away for a pee, and that was about 10 minutes ago, so I dread to think that he never had a mid-match pee either.
Serious.
Okay. We'll just let him enjoy it. Tell you already our faces are a lot more smiling than they were the other day. So.
Did you get picked for the drug test, David? Did you get picked for the drug test, David?
That was some pee you were on, or is it you're in a mansion and your toilets are like 4 flights up the stair?
I'd be struggling to pee with dehydration after that.
My toilets are in the east wing. I had to wait for the bus to come and take me over.
So, boys, listen. We drew that. It feels like a victory. Is that's about right?
Yeah.
I don't know actually. I think one of the things that I thought when I was looking at this, England are rubbish. You know what I mean? This whole hype and build up
Up
about
2 points.
everything, they're going to win it, and I didn't think they were particularly great against Croatia. And see, when you got to maybe about midway through the second half, the pace and imagination that you expect from some of those players in terms of how they play for their clubs, it just wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
I think for me against Croatia, they started really well. They started really quick and with a lot of tempo. And I thought if they played like that against us, I was fearing it. But they never at any point played with that sort of pace.
To be fair, I thought we started really well. I thought first 10 minutes we were really at it and really got into them, and it didn't let them settle. So I think a lot of the credit can be down to the way we started. You see it for the centre. They put the ball on and try and play off the bits. And first 10 minutes I think set the tone for the full game.
Yeah. But see, do you not think it made much more of a difference this time playing somebody off Dykes who's actually picking the ball up? There's a bit of support there, and that just wasn't there on Monday night.
I think because Shea Adams a natural striker, whereas with Christie, I think you try to fit him in, but Shea Adams, you can tell that's where he plays and he knew where to go at certain times and stuff. So I think that was probably the big difference for me.
Big difference for me. Dykes was winning a lot of things today against a bigger defender, a more, stockier defender, and I was surprised about that. But he was winning a lot of those challenges which he wasn't winning the other day, and that was a big difference up front because we were keeping it up there, and as you say, Shea Adams really intelligent, picks it up, holds the ball, guards the ball, keeps the ball, brings others into play. It was, just chalk and cheese from the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2,000 of them should still have invaded the pitch at the end and brought the cross back again just for the sake of it.
I think there was more than 2,000 in Scotland like that. Looked a wee bit more than 2,000 behind that goal.
So how did you see it, Tom?
It was great. I thought it was a great performance. I thought we were really measured. They sort of took their time when we got possession back. We took our time trying to build something. There was no rush. There was no panic. No panic to get the ball clear. No panic to get the ball up the field. They were turning back and trying to find something. I thought that was good. They look composed, and there was always a wee toe getting in there just at the edge of the penalty box. Or they never looked really panicked or anything like that. It was a really solid performance. The best I've seen Scotland for quite a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was saying to Andy just before we started here that for me, I was going into the game thinking Sterling, Foden starting that game could rip teams apart, and I was dreading them coming up against us. But it never happened for them. And when Grealish came on as well, You know,
The whole,
the
front, the whole front three, you know, you look at the front three and think that's going to be a real problem for our defenders. And I thought their front three were really poor. Kane particularly, you know. I just thought they lacked a wee bit of imagination and you know, always turning back inside. And I
They
don't
were
know.
very slow in their build-up as well, I thought. You know, I think we see Sterling and Foden at their best. Everything's really high intensity. I think it's stop-start on it and slow passes and stuff like that. You know, I think they thrive on it being quick and intricate around the box. And I don't think, well, they weren't like that tonight, you know. So
I think there
no
was,
complaining.
yeah, there was I don't know if they were around about 80 minutes, sort of around that sort of mark, that England had a lot of possession, but they were really, really slow. And at the end of it, they actually did sort of conjure a wee chance out of it. And I thought maybe they're just being really, you know, slow and then speeding up. But they were like that through the whole game. I just don't think. I think they thought things would happen for them rather than making things happen for them.
Right. Aye.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
was a weird last 15 minutes as well. You know, you would have thought they were actually deliberately playing for the draw.
Yeah. It felt that way both sides. It was sort of reminiscent of that. Was it Austria? What was it, World Cup game? Where they were just playing it out and
Austria,
stuff.
West Germany.
Aye. So it was reminiscent of that. But you know, I'm quite happy to do that if we go through it to the next round. But
Yeah.
do we need a win? Do we against Croatia?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would think so.
Yeah. Well, I think we've shown enough. We've shown enough there that we can raise our game, but we're still in a position, which I said from the when we did the first live podcast here, we're in a position where I'm going to be like, please just score a goal. Just score a goal. You know, just let us celebrate a goal at the tournament. You know, and it's like if that's a winning goal, absolutely brilliant. But it's got that's where we are right now. I just want us to score a goal.
But you know, it's I think it's difficult for. No, we're never going to be a team that's going to score a lot of goals against anybody. I don't think. And I think when you're getting into the latter stages of the tournaments, it's going to be really tough. You know, the other thing we don't ever seem to get the break of the ball on penalties and things like that, or free kicks, or you know. So you know, I think when you're having to take a limited amount of chances, and players are not the same. Best respect to them all, but they're not the same quality as some of the ones in the tournament. Then you know, it's always going to be difficult. A wee bit of luck. I mean, fair play to him. I was quite critical of O'Donnell on Monday night, but I thought he was one of the better players tonight. You know. Kept whoever he was playing against, whether it was Grealish or whether it was Sterling, pretty quiet, and he had a really good. I mean, that volley was magnificent.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, again, I don't think there was. I can't think of anybody that would fault in the Scotland team. You know, there was a couple that started a bit slow. What's the young Chelsea guy?
Billy
Gilmore.
What's that?
Billy Gilmore.
Gilmore. Sorry, yeah. But I'm loath to say that simply because the attitude of Lee Dixon about him I don't know if you had him during the commentary, but he was going on, oh, he looks really tired, he looks as if and it's like, give the boy a chance, he's a young lad, it's not as if he's coming in to play his first ever game, you know.
Do you know the thing though, Andy, I didn't sense that at all. Yeah. I thought the thing that was different about Gilmore, I think, is we played a different game because he was in the team. Not necessarily because he made us play a different game, but I think what was missing on Monday night for me, and what was really disappointing, was there was none of the. I mean, I know we were hitting it long a lot, but at least there was a bit of purpose to it this time. But there was none of that interplay between the midfield, you know, and a wee bit of confidence of taking it off the centre backs and playing it in, you know, short passes. And I'm a Chelsea fan, so and he's from our neck of the woods anyway. You know, so I'm a big fan of Billy Gilmore. Yeah. But that's what he does. You know, his game is about moving the ball on, doing the simple things, bringing other people in, and we did that really well tonight. Yeah. And it does kind of. I know it's easy to be wise after the event, and you know, Steve Clarke's a really good man. He knows what he's doing, but it makes you wonder why. Tearing apart, we didn't start with that kind of mentality against Czechoslovakia. It seemed to be a lot more conservative on Monday night, you know.
Yeah, I think that's down to listen, it's the first tournament in 23 years. The players will be aware of all that as well, you know. So I think there was a lot of nerves involved in. Well, there was on Monday. You could see it in the boys, you know. I think today probably pressure off, just go and show what we can do, you know. What better stadium to go there and put in a performance like that, you know. So I think it was a lot of nerves in Monday. Everybody thought we were going to win on Monday, you know, and that's always a danger for us, isn't it? You know, it was like people were too confident, you know, if you can be that, being Scottish, you know, but it's everybody he spoke to, I really fancies. And I just get a wee feeling, you just think, oh, there's too much positivity about it.
Weirdly enough, that might have worked against England tonight.
Yeah.
Because I think there was a lot of people talking about it's going to be 3 or 4, and you know, so I think you're probably right, Andy.
But I think with that, I don't think Scotland went in with that mentality the night. They maybe did against the other day against the Czech Republic, but I don't think they went into the England game the night thinking we are the inferior team, as was shown by their play. But I think England went into it thinking we're the superior team. But that's part of the course. That's what happens. That's what the commentators do. That's what the press do. That's what the fans do. That's what the team does. And that's probably why England haven't won a major championship since 1966. You know, saying that, you would think they would have won it in 1996, given the amount of times we've seen the Gaza goal over the last couple of days. But, and for the record, what a great goal it was. Anybody out there who's going to give me a hard time about it, but you know, let us watch it in our own time.
While we're on that, what did we think of the TV coverage? What were the commentary and the punditry? Any thoughts?
I was a wee bit disappointed on that it was the STV one. To be honest, I was looking to see whether I think McCoist was commentating for ITV, was he not?
McCoist
I'm
and Lee
surprised
Dixon.
it wasn't.
Sorry, Andy.
I quite liked to hear him, but I couldn't find that channel. I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right.
See, to be honest, for most of the game, I was that focused on the game, and the commentary was kind of bypassed me. In between shouting at the telly and things. So, but Kev can be a bit hard work sometimes for me. I would have preferred Coisty, I think, like everybody, you know. But listen, the commentary didn't really matter. You know, as I say, half the time I tuned into that. You know, I was too engrossed in the game, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I think we did carry a wee bit of luck. You know, there's no question. If Stone should have scored that header, and if it gone in, it arguably would have been a different game, I think.
Listen, for me, we were a bit lucky in certain times as well.
True.
What you spoke about was just not quite dropping to us. Stevie O'Donnell's shot could easily have went in. Lyndon Dykes had won as well. Shea Adams had won, you know. So, as I say, I thought...
I know.
Overall, I don't think David Marshall had a safety make that I can remember in the game.
I'd say, I bet you the Czech Republic had more chances against us than England did. I bet you they had more chances.
Well, the only save I can remember Marshall making is for, was it Mount? Mount, and it kind of it pushed it around the post. Apart from that, I honestly can't remember having a safety make.
Yeah.
So it was a comfortable. Listen, if you did it before the game, and nothing each, I think would have all bit your hand off, you know. So, no, listen, I'm delighted with it. I thought it was an unbelievable performance. I don't think we had a bad Scotland player.
Just sorry, Andy, as you say there about the fact that you never heard the commentary. I mean, I heard it, but it was like for the whole 90 minutes.
You'd Lee Dixon.
Aye, well, listen, Lee Dixon I normally like, but he was a bit crap this time. Let's just leave it at crap. But in the last game, I took notes throughout the game. Right, it was like, you know, this happens, that happens for this thing that we're doing. Not a single. I didn't even lift the pen or the pad this entire game. I was just, as I said, you know, it's like whenever we got a corner, the table would get pushed an extra inch in front of me just in case we scored, and I didn't want to knock things off. And so by the end of the time, the table's up by the telly. I'm away back to the other side of the room. Yeah, listen, I don't get enough games like that. I don't feel enough football games where that happens, and you know, it just reminds you of what you love about the game. You know, just the emotions, the highs, the lows, just the potential for, you know, going into 89 minutes, playing the way we do and losing a goal. Just the potential for that, you know, and it's like, it's drained. When we first came on, we were just like, absolutely drained from watching a game of football. And you've played, Andy. I mean, is it more draining watching that sort of thing, or is it playing it?
100%. As I say, my wife was just pissing herself laughing at me because I stood in the living room the full game. I couldn't sit down, so I basically just stood in the living room and shouted and called at the telly like a maniac. So no, I would definitely be playing, because then you feel as if you've got some control of it. You know, it's no, I'm not a great watcher. Very nervous, but as I say, it would have been watching Scotland if it wasn't a nerve-wracking experience, would it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, again, I thought Hanley had another cracking game, some cracking challenges as well, and McTominay was very good, but you know, he quietly effective. He does what he does well. You know, I think that the position that he played there is probably where he's better. But you know, when he's under pressure, rather than pushing forward a wee bit. Gilmore, I was going to ask you about him, Andy, because I've not really seen too much of him. What are your thoughts on watching him? Because to me, it looked as though it was great to see somebody who just kept on demanding the ball. You know, and there's somebody right up his backside, he'll take it, he touches it, he gets it out of his body, and then he moves it on.
No, that's what I love about him. Like, in Scotland, we tend to know give somebody if they've got a man behind them, whereas you look in the continent and that's what they do, that's the way they play, you know. They know the man's behind them. You can feel him, they know what way to turn. And I like that about him, you know. He'll demand the ball in places where other players might not want it, you know. But listen, he played like a 27, 28-year-old tonight. I mean, you know, he's all-round performance, his positioning, just good in the ball. And he, by the way, he wasn't scared to go and rattle a few either. And I liked that about him, you know. Even he's playing against his teammate, and early doors he gave him a wee rattle, just a wee reminder that he was there, you know. But no, listen, as I say, I thought it was an unbelievable performance for a 20-year-old who's basically making his international. That was his first start, you know. I think people forget that as well. It was the first game he'd actually started, and to put in a performance like that, it's just. Listen, it's really exciting for the future as well, because you look at that squad and there's no many old guys in it. You know, Scotland were always, every tournament we go to years ago, it was always kind of the last hurrah for a lot of them. There's no many in that. That you look at and you think, oh, this is your last chance. You know,
we're actually the most inexperienced squad in the Euros in terms of
a really good age. You know, to look forward and hopefully. This is just the start of something great, you know. Maybe get back to qualifying for tournaments on a kind of regular basis, you know.
Yeah. Listen, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We've all been here before
we're
quite a few
times.
You know, we've got, is it Tuesday, I think, against Croatia. So, you know, we know what we've got to do. You know, there's no playing for a draw. We know what we've got to do. So the game plan's got to be set around that. But you know, I'll do it the same as I go into any game. I will be cautious beforehand. As soon as the whistle blows, I'll be like, right, okay, we can win this. Doesn't matter who we're playing. I think we can win it, and then the game takes shape, and I realise we can't. So,
listen, see, to be honest, Andy, but see if you'd have been offered beat Croatia last game and you get through.
Yeah,
I think everybody would have took that. You know, that was probably the best case scenario we're going to get. We weren't going to take 6 points, were we, and go and stroll the group. So if you'd have been offered, right, listen, you got a 1.5 game against Croatia at Hampden to qualify, I think everybody would have took that.
Yeah. So England are technically through now, are they? On 4 points?
No, I don't know.
Maybe third place qualifier if they.
I'm just looking for a silver lining here in case they can't qualify.
Yeah, so England are on 4 points, Czech Republic on 4 points, and us and Croatia are on 1. I mean, Czech Republic could beat England and leave England on 4 points.
Yeah.
And for them to go through as winners.
Scotland would have to win 2-0 maybe. Or 2-0 they'd have to win to go above. Well, I think 4 points will qualify as a third place anyway. So I think they probably are through. but it's where they finish.
Yeah.
But I think if they win the group, they play the runner-up,
Germany or
the Germany one as well. So
France.
maybe that's their plan as well.
Well, they played that last 15 minutes as if it was.
Yeah. Maybe they want to finish second in the group.
Yeah.
So they had a fairly easy passage through to the World Cup semi-finals the last time, didn't they?
Well, we hear enough about it, don't we? They've usually got the route map through the final before they've played the first game. You know, to be fair, I've not seen much of that this time. But you usually see a bit of that before the tournament starts. If we beat them, once we beat them and we're through to the quarters, and then we play them. But there's no. Yeah. I don't think there's been as much of that this time.
No.
Okay, so guys, what's been happening with yourselves? What have you been up to? David, do you want to let us know what's been going on first?
How long are we talking here? How
as long as it takes, mate. But keep it entertaining. As soon as it doesn't get entertaining, then stop.
Well, when I was 7, I moved.
Right, stop. Right, Andy, on you go.
Get the plug in for your book first, David, and take it from there.
I'm fucking sick of that book,
Well, write another one then.
I'm only joking. I feel because Billy Gilmour deliberately is a character in the book, I feel as if I've milked it quite a bit over the last 2 weeks. There's a passage in the book where the character of Billy Gilmour scores in the 67th minute, and I'd been telling everybody that was what was going to happen tonight. And I think I would actually have had a heart attack if that had happened. And I was sitting at the beginning of the game, Scotland, I think on William Hill, were about 120-1 or something. They were giving them 121 to. God knows what it would have been for Billy Gilmour to have scored in the 67th minute to be that precise, But no, it's like everybody else, just kind of gradually thawing out of hibernation, and kind of feeling your way back into what might be normal society. Still kind of working from home. Got a book on the go at the minute that I'm hoping to finish in probably about Christmas.
You've been a bit of a darling of the podcast recently, haven't you?
The podcasts are great. I mean, they're a good laugh, and I think probably because so many of our meetings and with work is done on Teams or Zoom or something like that, you forget yourself for a minute. You forget actually when you're on a podcast, there's maybe a few more than just 4 people that you've worked with before listening. But no, it's good fun. I think people are probably down to you, Andy. Folk are starting to write in and say, "Would you come on this podcast or that podcast?" And I've kind of got a habit of just saying aye to everybody and anything,
Yeah. You'll be on GB News next day. Don't say yes to that.
Well, I'm blocked by Andrew Neil. I don't think I'm alone there. So I think probably that's the one. And George Galloway, I blocked by George Galloway for reminding him that I met him once, and unbelievably as this story sounds, I met him once in a hotel in Amman in Jordan. Not meaning to meet him, just went over and said, "You're George Galloway, aren't you? You're from Scotland, so am I." And he just blanked me, which is fine, that's all right. But about 3 months ago, I launched into this kind of wee Twitter thing about just constantly on a daily basis reminding him that I'd met him in Jordan and he'd been an arse, and then obviously the inevitable blocking comes from that. So
was that the tweet I saw? It was hashtag don't meet your heroes. Was that one?
Well, I've always really liked George Melly, as you know.
Yeah. But did you ask him, "You're from Scotland"? I mean, that's a shocker, by the way.
It was weird. I never asked him, "You're from Scotland."
You told him.
Worse than that, I told him he was from Scotland, as if there was going to be some reason why he wouldn't know that. You know.
So you know that I live in Batley in Spain, which is where he's standing for election, and I used to live in Bradford, which is where he stood for election and won as well. He's following me about. I swear to God. So David, for the people who don't know, tell us about the book and where they can get it from.
I should be looking for one. The one was kicking about earlier on. The book is called "There's Only One Danny Garvey," and it's a fictional story about the eponymous Danny Garvey, who was once a highly sought after young football player. Went to Aberdeen's career, finished at Aberdeen, and ends up coming back to Ayrshire junior football, older but maybe not wiser, to manage a local village club. It's set in the context of football, and obviously there's a lot of football elements to it, but it's more about his relationship and the trauma that he suffered when he was younger, and his relationship with a small group of family and who are all kind of falling apart in different ways. But the football sequences, for learn to talk to your audience. The football sequences in it are phenomenal, and it will be incredible, I'm sure, when James McAvoy and Martin Compson are being asked to play the lead characters on it.
Yeah, and
I sold it well enough. Is there anybody? If anybody from Netflix is watching, then you know where I am.
I'm going to bring it down by saying Robert Duvall's going to be in there as a Scottish coach as well. He's going to. Listen. It's like I've read it. It was absolutely brilliant, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, I mean, a lot of the stuff I read isn't books per se. It's obviously the magazines and stuff, but it actually, set me on a course of reading a lot of books again. So thank you for that. So. And I absolutely recommend it for people. Really good read.
Well, the last, not hogging this about my book, but the last thing this week, which was a bit totally out of the blue, actually, somebody had directed me to a review in a magazine called Late Tackle, which I hadn't heard of before. It's kind of, I think it's English. It's a wee bit like When Saturday Comes. It's kind of, you can get it in WH Smith and stuff like that. But it was really nice. It was a really good review, and I think they picked it up because it had a football theme, even though it was fictional. So it was really nice of them to do it, and it was good to read it as well. So.
And where can people buy it from?
People can buy the book from Watterson's Arenda Books website, where you'll get a bit of a discount, I think. There's a few it's kind of all over the place at the minute. There's a few copies in Late Night from Glasgow, the new independent record shop.
Yep.
So try to plug some of their.
Whereabouts is that?
Well, it's in the Hidden Lane, and it's great. I mean, they're doing some phenomenal stuff with music. So that the Bluebells reissues and Trash Can Sinatra's coming up, and they're promoting a whole load of new bands as well. And it's a kind of really interesting financial model they've got as well. So some of the books are in there, just trying to help support them a wee bit as well. So
okay, so that's
and there's an audio version as well.
Mm-hmm.
An audio version read by a guy called Angus King, who's
Who reads every Scottish novel.
I mean, I didn't really know that beforehand, because this is the first one that's been made into an audiobook, and it was really weird to hear it. I was listening to it in the car, and I thought, I wonder how this sounds when someone else is actually reading it rather than me. But he's done a fantastic job with it.
Yeah. So there's only one Danny Garvey, so we recommend you get that. Andy, it's been it feels like a couple of years now since we had you on the podcast, when we could go into the studio and breathe each other's fumes and things like that. So what's been happening with your life since then?
To be honest, not a lot, Andy. If Davey's looking for an actor, though, in his film, I played a major role in Angel Share, so I've got acting experience if he's looking for anybody, all right? So just to get that one. No, to be honest,
footballing experience too, Andy.
What's that?
And footballing experience too. It's something.
Oh well, aye. Yeah, definitely. Just trying to get a wee plug in there for myself. No, as I say, I was doing a bit like Chris Boyd's charity. Obviously before lockdown, we were going into schools and stuff, and going to speak to young people, mental health, and trying to carry that message. But obviously since lockdown, there's just not been the scope to do that, to get into schools and stuff. Things are beginning to obviously open back up again. So it's been a long year, tough year for everybody. But as I say, hopefully things are beginning to open up again. I was doing a wee bit after dinner and stuff as well. But as I say, with lockdown, everything kind of just fell apart, didn't it? So obviously with everything opening back up now, I was down in Greenock last week doing a talk with Derek Anderson, who works in the community down there, just speaking to young kids about my experiences and things like that. So that's obviously things that I'm trying to get back into when the time is right.
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately because of what's happened over the last year and a half, it's going to be more needed than before.
Oh, listen, that's right, as you say, it's going to be. I mean, I think the impact it's not going to be seen for a while. You know, there's been people that have been in the house for a year. You know, and the anxiety and stuff that comes with things opening back up. You know, so I think there's going to be a really big need for it. I mean, young people have probably been the worst affected with it. You know, listen, can you imagine being a young kid and you can't get to play? You can't, it's, football wise, the probably either a football career took away, especially kids at maybe 13, 14, 15. They're massive years at that age, and to not be able to play football for a year at that age.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. Listen, for me, it'll have a big impact, Listen, anything you do, if you take a year out of it, it's going to have an impact on it, especially long term. We'll maybe not see the impact right away, but certainly further down the line, I mean, because there's maybe kids that will fall away from football if maybe their diet's not been great, be sitting in the house.
Yeah.
I don't think there was many of their diets were great during lockdown when my wife was doing a lot of cooking, a lot of home baking, so and enjoyed that. But as I say, so there's lots of factors in it, just things that we've probably not thought about either that will pop up. The more things open up and stuff, and we'll see the full impact of what COVID's done, because I don't think it's just the year's lockdown. I think it's the stuff that's going to come later as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought that it must be more difficult for younger people because they don't have the maturity to really understand what's happening. It's like, I think probably even into your mid-20s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Before you actually think, right, okay, this is, I can't just do what I want to do.
Yeah. Why can I not go and play with my pals? Imagine you're 12, 13, you know what I mean? And, you need to stick basically in the house for a year, wouldn't they? I know they could maybe go a walk for an hour and things like that, but it must be really difficult, At that age, your pals are your life, don't they? It's like 12, 13, 14. You think the pals you've got to rise, you've got to be your pals all your life. You can't see them, and so it's all that. It's going to impact on young people going forward.
I think you're right, Andy. I mean, I think that when you're taking away the basic bones of everybody's structure for 18 months, even bouncing them in and out of school regularly, and that whole stability that you need when you're growing up, to feel a wee bit kind of secure and safe, and the opportunity to do things. I think you're right. I think that's going to be a major problem over the next 2 or 3 years, how to reset all that. Yeah.
And I think, listen, at the spells, I found it difficult. See, like no human contact. I was having to. My mum was shielding. I was having to take her over her messages and stuff, and you're leaving her at the door and you can't cuddle your mum. It was just, it was so strange. Like just human contact and just like, things we took for granted all our life. Going to the shops. Just all the kind of freedoms that you didn't even think about, did you? And now it's. Right, if I've been out for an hour, it was quite bizarre. Well, it's been quite bizarre, hasn't it? But as I say, going forward, everything's opened up back again. Scotland are going to qualify at the groups, so everything's looking positive. So aye.
Right. So on that, let's predictions. So what do we think? Starting with Tom. Scotland.
I think knowing Scotland will win. We'll get the 4 points and then we'll somehow no qualify. Somehow no be one of the top 6 third place teams. But I think I'm going to say we'll get the win.
Okay.
Typical Scotland, 1 defeat, 1 draw, 1 win. Typical sort of tournament for Scotland. So I'm going to say we're going to get the win and then see how it goes. I think obviously it goes on how other groups go. Now, if we get the 4 points, It's how other groups go, and if we're going to be one of the 6.
I think on that, Tom, I think 4 points will definitely get us through. I really do. I think Hungary, I don't think will win a game in their group. You know, the Germany-Portugal draw. If Germany-Portugal draw, if Portugal beat Germany, then Germany can only get 3 points.
Right.
You know, so there's so many permutations, but that's the thing. You know, everybody's going to have to be a mathematician for the next couple of days. You know, but I'm sure everybody will. By the time Tuesday comes, everybody will know exactly what we need to do. And that's all you can ask for.
What's the prediction, though, Andy? What's your prediction? Come on.
Listen, I've got Scotland 1-0 win. You know,
okay.
Take a goal for it. You know, just we don't look as if we're going to go and beat somebody 2-3-0. You know, so I think we've just got to keep it tight and hopefully we get a goal for somewhere. You know, I think that's our best chance. You know, to win 1-0 and hope everything else goes well for us.
Okay, David, over to you for a sense of realism.
I think it's going to be 1-0. I think Billy Gilmour's going to score in the 67th minute.
Get your bets on now.
If I keep sticking, well, that's what I'm saying.
Are you not keeping up for the final? No.
Well, the thing is, Andy, the law of averages is how long's Gilmour got? Maybe 12 years to play for Scotland. If I predict that every game, it might come through once, you know.
That's all you need.
Hey, well, listen, I can't go against anybody here. I'm going for a 1-0 win. The one goal that I'm after to get us through. That's all I want. I don't care who scores. But yeah, let's go for it. 1-0 win, Scotland, Tuesday. We're through.
I think
definitely.
Well, here's an interesting question. Do you think he'll go with the same starting 11?
I don't see any problem with that unless there's any injuries or maybe somebody needs a wee rest. I'd be more than happy to see who.
We're resting players for the next round. Yeah. Is that what you're thinking?
All right, and people with a knock. Then if you're going to jump on me, and you know, it's been an emotional day, Tom. So you know,
there's the ultimate optimism. We'll keep Tierney on the bench for the
rest of them.
Yeah, we don't want people getting booked and out of the next round. That's what it is. So we'll bench the people that are on a yellow card. How about that? Hey, listen, guys. Pleasure as always having you on. So thank you very much for joining us. And I think we can pretty much agree that it's a lot more uplifting result tonight than it was the other night. And we're back in it. We're back in it. That's
all you can ask for.
This is the ride, the roller coaster ride that has been a Scottish fan. We're back in it, and look at us. We're confident we're going to get through. And what happens the next game, who knows? But yeah, let's go for it. Right, guys, thank you again. Take care, and
no problem.
Until the next time, shoot the breeze.
Thanks, Andy.